Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to my first video on this account. The account name is Chad Maestro, and that's with an M-A-E, and I'm going to be making this video about overclocking. Computers are something we use in everyday life now, so I guess it's time to look at the inner workings and some tweaking and modding to make them work better. You're going to need a couple things for this. You're going to need a working computer. This is an example. For this tutorial you're going to need a Gigabyte motherboard. The reason for this is because Gigabyte motherboards tend to use similar BIOSes throughout all of them. So you could follow this guide quite closely and still be able to use it effectively. Now the motherboard that we're using for this today is called the X38 DS4, and the processor is the Intel E8500. Now the only difference between this and the E8400 and the E8600 is the multiplier that it uses, which would be between 9, 9.5 and 10. From there you're going to enter your BIOS. This is what your BIOS looks like. The first thing you need to do is you change all your settings. And to begin your overclocking, you're going to need to go into your MI tweaker, motherboard intelligent tweaker. Basically, the first thing you're going to see here is your robust graphics booster, which basically should always be on auto. Then you're going to see your CPU multiplier here. That should be on 9 and 0.5. If you've got an E8600, it's going to be on 10. If it's an E8400, it's going to be on 9. So all you have to do is leave that at default. Depending on what RAM you have, for this one we're going to leave it at default. Next thing is you're going to have to enable your CPU host control. That basically enables you to change your FSB. And to change your FSB, it's the next option, which is defaulted at 333. Your FSB times your multiplier gives you your clock speed basically. And that would be at the moment 333 times 9.5 equals 3.16 gigahertz. So what we're going to do is we're going to change that right up to 400, and basically that'll change the clock speed from 3.16 gigahertz up to 3.8, and that's quite a huge increase. That's nearly 700 megahertz. From there, go one option down and you got the PCI Express frequency, and that should always be at 100. It can be at auto, but 100 is recommended. Don't go over 100 because that could cause instability. From there you can see CIA2, which should be disabled by default. CIA2 is an option that will overclock your CPU when your CPU goes under load, and that varies between all these different options over here, but you don't want to play with that just yet because we all know that we're already overclocking by default. The next thing is the memory performance, and that's set to auto. You don't want that at the moment because we're overclocking, and that could easily cause instability issues, so you want that at standard. Next thing is the memory multiplier, which should be at 2.0. If you're over 400, if you're at 400 or over, that should be 2.0D. The next thing is the memory timings or latencies. For this tutorial we're going to leave it at auto, but by default you should set them at 55515, which they are already set at, so it doesn't make a difference. Then you've got the advanced timing control, which is basically your sub timings, which is very complex and you shouldn't touch that unless you actually really know what you're doing. From there you're going to see your system voltages. For this video we're going to change the CPU voltage up to, from 1.25 I believe it is, we're going to change that to 1.3, which is basically what most people are using today for their clock speed. With 1.3 you can often go higher depending on what stepping you have. In this CPU we're using a C0 stepping. In others at the moment you've got E0, which is a little bit better in terms of voltage per clock speed. The DDR2 voltage should be at normal. Don't change that. You won't need to change your FSB control, because you only need to change your FSB voltage once you go over about 450. The same goes for your MCH voltage. You don't need to change any of your reference voltages just for this, because it's a simple overclock. Those are normally used for when you're using extreme cooling, such as LN2 or DICE. From there you hit escape, and then you just go and save and exit setup. there, your CPU, your whole computer will shut down now if it's a Gigabyte board, and then it will restart. From there you can see it's starting to boot up again, and on your post screen, your power on self-test, you should see it state that the clock speed is 3.8 gigahertz. Okay, you missed that there unfortunately because the screen takes a while to start up, but we'll check in Windows whether it is really at 3.8 gigahertz or not, and that's really how simple it is if this works. You'll also notice general Windows operating system usage, like access times and all that fun stuff will increase, or should I say decrease. Everything will be faster, you know. So I mean, I'm using a very bloated Windows install here, so it's going to be slow anyway, but you will definitely notice an increase in speeds, decrease in access times. Everything will be choppier. Let's see if I can get this one right on first go. No. There we go. Okay. Okay. Windows is starting. Quite a lot of programs. Alright, so what we want to do here is right click on computer or my computer on the desktop and go to properties. In there you should be able to see the you won't be able to see here, but I'll take a screenshot for you and show that that is 3.8 gigahertz. Alright, and that's basically how easy it is to set your E8500 or E8600 or E8400 up to 3.6 to 3.8 gigahertz.
Baby, you can walk on water.